Hey friends, it is yet another poetry Pthursday, because you can't have poetry without alliteration, and tonight we are reading Spring by Christina Rossetti. Frost locked all the winter, seeds and roots, and stones of fruits. What shall make their sap ascend, that they may put forth shoots? Tips of tender green, leaf, or blade, or sheath, telling of the hidden life that breaks forth underneath, life nursed in its grave by death. Blows the thaw wind pleasantly, drips the soaking rain, by fits looks down the waking sun, young grass springs on the plain. Young leaves clothe early hedgerow trees, seeds and roots and stones of fruits. Swollen with sap, put forth their shoots. Curled-headed ferns sprout in the lane. Birds sing and pair again. There is no time like spring, when life's alive in everything, before new nestlings sing, before cleft swallows speed their journey back along the trackless track. God guides their wing. He spreads their table that they nothing lack, before the daisy grows a common flower, before the sun has power to scorch the world up in his noontide hour. There is no time like spring that passes by. There is no life like spring life born to die, piercing the sod, clothing the uncouth clod, hatched in the nest, fledged on the windy bough, strong on the wing. There is no time like spring that passes by, now newly born and now hastening to die. The end. Is it just me, or can writers not really write about spring without being like, but you're also gonna die? Oh, the newness of spring and everything is alive again after the dull of winter, blah, blah, blah. They can't help but remind you that, everything's gonna die and this is all pointless, so. This is not one of Christina Rossetti's more famous poems, but I still like it a lot. I'm kind of mad because I intended to read this during spring, and it has been spring. It was very nice for the past week or so, and then today it got really cold, and now I'm kind of annoyed, and I'm dying to get back in my sweater. But this poem in particular is kind of emblematic of a lot of Christina Rossetti's style. She wrote a lot about, the newness of life and death and all that kind of thing. And she also did a lot of things in pairs. And this poem actually has a pair called Autumn, which we will read in guess when. I do think I'm being a little bit unfair just to say that this is kind of a downer, but it is. It's also a very good reminder. It's a good poetic device, and we did see that kind of duality throughout the poem. She repeats a whole bunch of lines and kind of slant repeats a bunch of lines with different meanings, but that kind of repetition is also part of what makes it a really good poem, because when the repetition happens, it kind of means something different. And I do think that I am being a little bit unfair to kind of dismissively say, you're being a bummer about spring, because it's okay to be optimistic about the renewal of life and getting winter behind, but at the same time, it's also kind of important to acknowledge the cycle of life and how everything old is new again, and that's still kind of a bummer, so I'm not being completely unfair. And that's it. That's the end of the video. I still don't have a good outro kind of thing. I guess I could tell you to like and subscribe, and I don't know. I really liked the old fading out kind of thing, but it doesn't really seem to work well if I'm actively talking to you. But I don't know. And I just want you to pick a card and keep watching my channel and like and subscribe and